The impact slammed my pregnant belly straight into the steering wheel. A searing pain ripped through my abdomen as I forced myself to look down. My white dress was already soaking through with red. Just as my vision started to blur, I spotted my husband, Thomas Davenport. With what little strength I had left, I pounded on the window, desperately trying to get his attention. But he rushed right past my car as if I didn't even exist. A petite figure came bouncing into view, throwing herself straight into his arms. Tommy. I got distracted and rear-ended the car in front. What should I do? Thomas' assistant, Tracy Hayes, whimpered. I managed to crane my neck around, catching their reflection in my rearview mirror. There he was, holding her close, his voice going all soft and gentle. Don't worry, I'm here. Are you hurt? Tracy shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes. Playing the whole damsel in distress card, Thomas barely glanced at my car before saying, Don't worry. I'll make sure the owner gets compensated generously. Nothing bad's gonna happen to you. His eyes lingered for a second, and I thought maybe, just maybe, H recognized my car, but Thomas just frowned and turned to his other assistant, Ryan Woods. Make sure the owner doesn't call the cops, whatever it costs. We handle this privately. Not once did Thomas even look my way. His whole world was wrapped up in that new assistant of his. Well, this should be interesting. I would like to see how he planned to settle this with me. Hearing Thomas' instructions, Ryan shot an uneasy look at my car. Sir, the airbags deployed in their car. It could be serious injuries. If we don't involve the police and try to handle it privately, the owner might not be so. Before Ryan could finish, Thomas' face darkened. I don't care how difficult it is. Handle it privately. Tracy isn't getting hurt over this. Got it. Go deal with it. Whatever they want, they can have it. You're my assistant. If you can't handle something this simple, what good are you to me? Ryan could only nod in compliance as he approached my car with a grave expression. Just as he was getting closer, Tracy let out a dramatic cry. Tommy, I'm so dizzy. What if I have a concussion? Thomas scooped her up in his arms, his face twisted with concern. Baby, why didn't you tell me earlier? What am I supposed to do if you're hurt? Tracy snuggled into his embrace like a spoiled kitten, then turned to shoot me a smug look over her shoulder. That was when Ryan finally noticed me in the car. He started to rush toward Thomas to tell him, but I silenced him with one look. Seeing the blood staining my dress, he rushed me to the hospital instead. The doctor told me there was a risk of miscarriage, but they could try to save the baby. There were no guarantees, but there was a chance. No need. I cut in flatly. Just terminate the pregnancy. The doctor's eyes filled with sympathy, but he respected my choice. Well, need a family member's signature on the paperwork. Is your husband here? I laughed bitterly inside. My husband? Oh. He was busy comforting the woman who crashed into me. I'll sign it myself, I managed to say. My hands trembled as I took the consent form. Somehow, I scratched out my signature and then collapsed onto the hospital bed, completely drained. Baby, how can I rest easy if you don't let the doctor check you thoroughly? You're so bad, Tommy. Looking up, I spotted Thomas across the way, his arm wrapped around Tracy while juggling a stack of medical forms. Now that's devotion. One of the nurses gushed, eyeing them. She barely tapped another car, doesn't have a scratch on her. And here he is, ordering every test in the book. That's the kind of husband you want. Another chimed in, someone who treats you like you're made of glass. What a lucky girl. She must have saved the galaxy in her past life to land a man like that. They kept going on and on, completely oblivious to my expression darkening with each word. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. That's my husband. The nurse's eyes went wide, her jaw practically hitting the floor. When I came to, I found myself in a hospital bed with Ryan hovering nearby, looking like H rather be anywhere else. Mum, this is the last VIP room available, he said carefully. The hospital's asking us to clear out. Apparently, Mr. Davenport wants Ms. Hayes to stay for a thorough checkup. How thoughtful of them. My throat felt like sandpaper as I forced out the words. Tell the hospital I'm not going anywhere. Ryan quickly poured me some water. Mum, maybe we should tell Mr. Davenport the truth. He still loves you. He just doesn't know you were the one in the accident. I took a sip of water. You should head back now. Just tell them the accident's been handled. No need to make this awkward. Just then, the hospital door swung open. Tracy rolled in on a wheelchair, pushed by a nurse. She took one look at my pale face lying in the hospital bed and smirked, utterly pleased with herself. Isn't this my room now? Why don't you do us all a favor and clear out? I met her gaze steadily. And if I don't? She threw up her hands with an exaggerated shrug. then I'll have to get someone to help you move. But that could get messy, you know? Save yourself some dignity and walk out on your own. No point clinging to something that isn't yours anymore. Better to keep it classy, right? I shot her an icy look. Classy? That's rich coming from someone who's proud to be the other woman, showing up to make a scene in front of the wife. Where's your dignity in that? Tracy's face flushed red. She hadn't expected me to call out her homewrecker status so bluntly. You don't know anything, she snapped, jabbing a finger at me. The real other woman is the one who isn't loved. You're just a washed-up old hag who can't even have kids. Tommy doesn't love you anymore. Ryan had finally had enough. He stepped between us. Tracy, you're crossing a line here. Remember your place. Tracy's face twisted with rage. In one swift motion, she jumped up from her wheelchair and slapped Ryan across the face. Who do you think you're to lecture me? Watch yourself or I'll tell Tommy to fire your ass. Ryan's face flushed with anger. You what? You're nothing but Tommy's lapdog. Who are you to bark at me? Then, Tracy turned her venom on me. And you old hag. Why are you still hanging around? Get lost. This room belongs to me now. My chest heaved with rage as she got in my face. Before I knew it, my hand flew up and cracked across her cheek. She froze, stunned. How dare you hit me? I sneered. Yeah, I did. What, should I have made an appointment first? That's what happens when you mess around with married men. I told you. This is my room, and I say you're not welcome. So do yourself a favor and get out of my face. She lost it completely, launching herself at me with fists flying. Ryan jumped in to protect me, but everything spiraled out of control. He tried to shield me, taking the brunt of Tracy's wild scratching and clawing. What the hell is going on here? Thomas stormed in, radiating fury, with a bunch of doctors trailing behind him. Tracy seized her moment while I was distracted. Shoving me hard, I hit the floor, pain shooting through my body. Then, she flipped the script completely, tears streaming down her face as she threw herself into Thomas' arms. Tommy, this room was supposed to be mine. But she wouldn't leave. She hit me too. Look at my face. Thomas snapped. He rounded on Ryan. I hired you to handle things, not let Tracy get hurt. You want to keep your job or not? Whoever dares mess with my people, I'll make sure they vanish from Altheria. Get this woman out of my sight. Now, my blood ran cold. So this was what happened when people crossed Tracy. Ryan stood there, hesitating to say anything. Sir? Tracy snuggled deeper into Thomas' embrace, her voice coming out in dramatic little sobs. Tommy, Ryan was just helping that woman bully me. Look, he won't even follow your orders now. Thomas' face darkened with rage. Ryan, are you trying to get fired? Get whoever's in that room out, now. Or should we make Tracy stay in some regular room? Ryan didn't budge, clearly wrestling with something he wanted to say. Get out of my sight if you can't handle something this simple. What good are you? Ryan stood in front of me, and after catching my subtle nod, he left the room, defeat written all over his face. Thomas was practically seeing red. One of the doctors brought along quickly jumped in, all eager to please. Mr. Davenport, leave this to us. We'll have the room cleared for you right away. The security guards approached me with sympathy in their eyes. Miss, you should leave on your own. You can't fight a losing battle here. Mr. Davenport isn't someone we can afford to cross. Well, let's see who's stupid enough to cause trouble. Thomas' voice boomed with authority. I'll make sure she learns what happens when you mess with Tracy. As the footsteps drew closer, the guards grew more anxious. Miss, please, just go. This isn't the time to stand your ground. Thomas stopped behind me, looking down with contempt. Too late to just walk away now. His grip dug into my shoulder. You're going to pay for what you did. Nobody gets away with giving Tracy a hard time, not on my watch. It was funny how he couldn't even recognize me from behind anymore. He roughly spun me around until we were face to face. Mr. Davenport, I said icily, care to tell me exactly what happens to people who cross Tracy? Thomas' eyes went wide with shock. He staggered backward, collapsing onto the bed. Lillian? How? What are you doing here? His eyes darted over my hospital gown. Why didn't you tell me you were sick? I let out a bitter laugh, glancing at Tracy, hovering behind him. Thomas, want to know why I'm in the hospital today? Tracy's panic was written all over her face. As I slowly got to my feet, Thomas reached out to help me, but I pulled away. Thomas looked confused until Tracy glanced at the prescription on my bedside table. You had an abortion? She gasped, clutching Thomas' sleeve. She went on. Why would she hide getting an abortion from you? Oh my God. You don't think? Thomas' face of guilt instantly hardened into disgust. He grabbed my arm, barely containing his rage. Whose baby was it? I stared in shock at the man before me, his features twisted with anger. Was he seriously asking whose baby it was? All the pain I'd been holding back finally broke through. My nose stung as tears started streaming down my face. Thomas' expression softened slightly. Look, but Tracy cut him off, pointing at me accusingly. Listen, as a woman, I feel for you. I do. But you're married, and you went and cheated and got pregnant by some other man. Now that Tommy found out, you're playing the victim? What, are you trying to get his sympathy? Tommy's a good person, but you can't take advantage of his kindness by cheating on him. Thomas' face darkened even further at her words. Tell me right now, whose baby was it? Who's the guy you've been sleeping with?